Hello, good morning. Today we will be talking about on how should we decide in different situations considering that we have natural law. But before that, let me give to you a simple definition on what natural law is. First, natural law is a legal theory that connects the law and the humanity. Secondly, natural theory is universal, objective, and not debatable, meaning it's just natural. According to Thomas Aquinas, he theorized that God made us preloaded with the things or with the tools that we need in order to seek for good and to know what is right and wrong. So basically, these things are the seven basic goods, namely life, reproduction, educate one's offspring, seek God, living in society, avoid offense, and lastly, shun ignorance. These seven basic goods would give us an idea on how should we decide in a specific situation. So our group, among the four questions, among the four scenarios, we choose the first one, which is whether the abortion is morally acceptable and in what circumstances. So after discussing about the topic, we come up into different five arguments that would give us an idea and help us to decide whether abortion is morally acceptable or not. So let's hear it from our group mates.
Our group believes that abortion is not morally acceptable. Why? Because, first of all, killing is bad. And based on the Bible, Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, God said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." It means all of us are created by God to be fruitful, govern, and drain all of His creations, not to ruin it by killing fetuses or innocent human beings by abortion.
Abortion is not acceptable because everyone has the right to live. According to the fifth basic good, we should live in a society. We are naturally social animals, so it's part of our basic goods to live in the community with others. Even an unborn baby has already a life that should be protected. All people have a purpose and a responsibility that need to accomplish here in this world. We all know that people are sinners, since no one is perfect, and those sins can be big or a small one. For example, killing people. This is a very big sin that we need to prevent from doing, as it is the first sacred law that God has told us. This sin is unacceptable. This sin needs to be paid. We have a law here in this country that give punishment to the one who did this kind of sin. But it doesn't mean that if you kill a person, your punishment is you need to be killed also. God is the only person who has the right of giving and taking away life. That's why this punishment is not acceptable. Even though they did a big sin, they still have their own purpose and responsibility in this world. Everyone has the right to change. Everyone has the right to continue their lives. Everyone has the chance to change the bad things that they did into good because everyone has the right to live.
The third argument is that it is not morally acceptable to have an abortion because we need to procreate and promote life. God wants us as humans to procreate and promote life by having reproduction. Why? Because by means of saving the baby, meaning we are having reproduction, we are adding up or we are reproducing the humans that God wants us. But I am not saying that that all the time it is good to have reproduction even if it is not necessary. We should take into consideration the kind of situation that we are facing with. Like right now, we need to choose whether to have an abortion or not. So basically, we want to not have abortion because abortion is killing, and by means of killing, we are lessening the population of human. We are violating the second basic goods. So we are promoting life um, in this kind of situation by not having an abortion, aside from not killing, aside from not violating any rules, we are actually following the second basic goods that God wants us, and that is reproduction. God wants us to reproduce and to promote life by not killing anyone. So, in this kind of situation, we are seeking for good. And what is the meaning if we seek for good? Basically, if we seek for good, our action is good or our action is right. So it is morally acceptable if we don't have undergone abortion, and by means of this, we are also promoting life, procreating life, and saving the lives of the baby.
Abortion is not acceptable, even if we are driven by our emotions and ignorance. Killing an innocent and defenseless human being is a huge crime. We cannot make an unborn child pay for the consequences of our wrong actions. Committing such thing only means that you are ready for what will be its outcome. Abortion is a sinful thing to God. He gave precious lives and we are just humans. We don't have any right to kill them. Ignorance is not the reason behind this, because even the most uneducated person on earth knows that killing an innocent precious life is the worst thing to do. Ignorance and emotions are not enough reasons to commit abortion. So don't play the victim of your own sin.
It is not acceptable because as we human, we need to educate one's offspring. Having a baby is a blessing. It is a gift that God given to us, and it is responsibility to take care of it and nurture every day that we spend in this world. Abortion will never be acceptable or way just to get rid of the things that we are not ready to turn in. It is disgrace or unacceptable to us as a woman to conduct an abortion. Aside from that, it is an illegal to our law, or it's in God's will. The risk of conducting of abortion can affect to the woman's psychological or even in emotion can also affect or can have a risk. This psychological response is a form of traumatic disorder, stress disorder, and deliberate killing of an innocent human being.
To sum up our discussion on whether abortion is morally acceptable and in what circumstances, basically with our reasons, our answers would be it is not morally acceptable to have abortion, regardless of its circumstances. Because why? We give to you the 5 arguments. Firstly, it is not acceptable because on the very first place, killing is bad and it is against on the will of God. Second, we need to give someone a chance to live here in the world or here in the society and get belong with us. Number 3, it is not morally acceptable because stated in the second basic good that we need to procreate, we need to reproduce humanity or reproduce humans as God stated with us. Number 4, it is not morally acceptable because even if we are driven by our emotions, even if we are ignorant into something, it is not an excuse for us to have an abortion. And lastly, as a person, as a mother of that offspring, we need to educate him or her by saving his life, saving her life, and we shouldn't be remove the chance to study or the chance to learn on that child. So I hope that you understand different things. I hope we help you to decide whether abortion is morally acceptable or not. And we always should, I want you to listen to this, that in every scenario, in every situations, we must consider ourselves, we must consider other things, but the more importantly, we should consider that there is natural law that are existing. Thank you very much.